going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and for today I wanted to give you guys a look at the last member of the Sinister Six that I chose to work on, and that is Rhino. I've had this guy done for quite a while. I just haven't gotten around to making a video on him, so I wanted to do that today because some of you guys may still be working on him, and since he's jacked, a lot of you guys may be thinking this guy must be a beast, right? Nah, he's not. Trust me. Out of the entirety of the Sinister Six, he sits at the bottom. Yeah, he sits at the very bottom, and he's there by quite a distance, to be honest. Now, the main problem that I have with Rhino as a character is his survivability. His damage is decent, and overall his kit is unique, but he's just not good enough for the majority of the game's content. He can still clear world bosses. You're gonna struggle with him. He can clear a few Shadowland stages, but that's about it. You're not gonna find any use for him in stuff like Timeline, and you're not gonna find any use for him at all in Alliance battle. So if you like him, keep that in mind when you're working on him, and I'll show you guys my build for him. We're gonna do some gameplay with him today, but I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit about why I feel like Rhino is not that great. Now, for the most part, Rhino's animations for his skills are very long and drawn out, and when he's attacking, he takes so much damage, and the only way that he really has to protect himself is this one iframe that he has on the 5 skill. It's a long iframe, however at the beginning of the skill I almost always take damage just because of the distance between me and the enemy. When I try to activate the skill, I have to cover a little bit of ground, and in that short time they generally get a hit off. Skill does great damage, it's really cool to watch, but apart from this iframe, he doesn't really have too much to give him extra protection. He has a guard skill right here, but as you guys can see, 5 hits and it's gone in 3 seconds. To be honest with you guys, in most cases, as soon as I put this up, the enemy shoot it off. It doesn't even last the 3 seconds because he's always up in the enemy's faces, as he should be. This is very Rhino-like, so I'm not knocking them for making him a up-in-your-face Hulk type character, because that is who he is. He smashes stuff and he's always up in your face. So true to the comics, he is exactly how he should be, but I would have liked this guard to last a little bit longer or have a few more hits, because that's pretty much all he has to protect himself. No stuns on any of the other skills. The 5 skill has a stun on it, but the stun in an iframe is just what the hell. Like, you could have put the stun on another skill and that would have made him significantly better. The 4 skill right here has a good bit of damage, but it leaves him completely vulnerable. So if you use it wisely, because in most cases you will die just because of how long this skill is. For me, the 3 skill is one of the best skills in his kit. As you guys can see, once you get it to level 6, you can increase his physical attack by 30%. That is huge. Definitely a bonus to the character, because his leadership does not give him an increase to his attack. So you want to put this up as soon as the fight starts. You can either open with this, but for me, I always open with the 5 skill, then try to get the 2 skill for that guard and cancel into the 3 and try and get the 4, but I'll take some damage. But once you have the 3 up, you can generally muscle through whatever it is you're trying to do with him. Personally, keep him in Shadowland, and with a few attempts you will get a clear with him on something like the speed relay or the destroyer bosses. Those are the 2 stages so far that I've actually been able to solo with this guy. Granted, I've only had him maxed out for about 2 weeks, so I'm going to be playing with him a lot more, and I'll probably find something else that he's able to do, but for right now, those are the 2 stages that I've found that he's able to solo. I'm going to show you guys one of those today, and then maybe another time I'll show you guys something else with him, maybe some world boss gameplay. Let me know what you guys want to see with Rhino. His tier 2 passive is actually a pretty unique tier 2 passive. On top of the fact that he gets the increase to all attack, all speed, that's great. His offense doesn't necessarily need augmenting, but it's great that he gets a little bit. What's interesting here is that he's actually immune to physical reflect. Well, actually, he's immune to all kind of damage reflect, but to be honest with you guys, physical reflect is the only thing that really matters, because all of his skills deal physical damage, so that's about the only thing that will ever get reflected back at him, but that cannot happen. So in most cases, if you're putting him in PvP, something like Battle World, he'll do pretty good against Luke Cage, one of the few characters that can actually take down Wolverine. So yeah, he does have a slight advantage when it comes to something like Combat Battle World, but even still, I would not tier 2 Rhino unless you have a really stacked roster with a bunch of other tier 2. If you don't have Vulture already at tier 2, Kraven, Mysterio, Sandman, don't tier 2 this guy yet. Work on some of the other Sinister 6, get them to tier 2, and then if you like him, go ahead and tier 2 him. Leadership right here is a leadership that is only meant for newer players. 20% increase to ignore defense is something that I think is only going to be useful to you in your first few months of the game. Once you get your cards built up, you're not going to need this anymore. However, it's unique and it's nice to see leaderships that are not just the standard 30% increase to physical attack and some of those nonsense all-speed leadership that they give to speed characters. So hopefully Netmarble can keep it interesting and keep giving us a little bit more like diversity in the leaderships. Even if it's not really that great, it's nice to see change, right? Now let me go ahead and show you guys how I have this guy build, and then we can take him into Shadowland and I can show you guys some gameplay with him. Now as for his details, guys, right here, as you guys can see, I have 119 for the attack speed, and this is about where you want to leave it, because once you get him to tier 2, you're going to get 10% increase to all speed, so that's going to get you, well, get me almost capped off. 120 it would be ideal, obviously, because that's going to get you to 130. 47% for crit rate, 182 for critical damage, 50% for ignore defense. That's because I have him at lead, and in most cases when I use this guy, I'm going to put him as lead, so there's no need for me to cap off his ignore defense. But for you, if you're not going to always use him as the leader, you should definitely still cap it off. Right here, reduce cooldown duration is at 50%. And let's take a look at the gears. As you guys can see, all 20, no Urus, and I don't think I'll ever give him any Urus, but who knows, maybe he'll get a uniform and that will make him an outstanding character. So you never know what the future holds in this game, to be honest. So I shouldn't say I will never put Urus on him, because hey, there may come a time when I have a need for him. Right now, not so much. We already spoke on the skills, and as you guys can see right here, I have overdrive on him. And this was really lucky for me, because this is probably one of the best ISO sets for him. You don't want Hawk's Eye because you don't need any dodge. You want to go completely offense with this guy in terms of the ISO set, and just try to end your fights before they get anything past 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute with this guy is about all the time you should take in a fight, because after that you're pretty much on borrowed time and you're most likely gonna die if you do not have an invincibility obelisk like myself. Crit damage, invincibility, and web immunity. I built this mainly because I use him in Conquest a lot, so whenever I see speed teams, I throw him in, especially when I'm up against Spider-Man, and he usually is able to hold it down for me. So that's why I have it here. The invincibility is amazing to have here because it allows me to play him very aggressively, which is what I love, and I can play him true to his comic book self. Now with that said, let's jump into Shadowland and get some gameplay with this guy, man. I want to keep you guys all day rambling, so let's do it, Spidey. Alright, let's roll, boys. Alright, let's put the hurt on these guys. As you guys can see, he has pretty good damage based on how I have him set up. It's just that he doesn't have the survivability because his guard doesn't last as long, and he can't really take too many hits outside of the guard because he's gonna melt. You guys will see for yourself. Bye, Ant-Man. And Spidey, get out of that. Yeah, like this guy, his damage is great, but it's just that I can't with him. He needs more survivability in my book. Maybe I'm just really bad with him, but he just does not survive when I use him in anything outside of a relay and the destroyer bosses. I'll show you guys some gameplay against the destroyer bosses when I get a chance to. But that's all I have to say for this one, guys. Like always, thanks for watching. Hope it was informative, and I will see you guys next time. Peace, love, and I'm out.